Hello to all the KPRC2 insiders and everybody on click2houston.com. I'm KPRC Sports Director Randy McAvoy alongside Ari Alexander. We want to talk just a few minutes about Astros, Ari, because you and I were out at Minute Maid Park earlier today. The Yankees are in town just for one game, but it's a new homestand for the Astros. First, let's talk real quickly about this stretch against these New York teams, because people have been watching closely nationally. Best team in the National League record-wise, New York Mets? Mm-hmm. And the Yankees, of course, we know their story, and they held held up well over the last 8 or 9 days.
Well, I'm not surprised at all. I mean, the Astros are one of the best teams in baseball. They held their own against the Yankees. If they don't blow those two late leads or kind of run out of bullpen pitching in one of those games, you can sweep the Yankees in the Bronx, which would be really impressive. They went 4-0 against the Mets, and as a Mets fan, I can pick it apart and be like,
you weren't doing too well about that.
Well,
right?
It's like they threw Trevor Williams one game, and then you could really tell that they knew Carlos Carrasco. They know what to look for. They jumped on him twice. So 3 out of the 4 games, they just jumped on the Mets early. And the 4th game is a really good pitcher's duel between who I think should be a National League All-Star Taijuan Walker, sub-3 ERA, and then, of course, Justin Verlander is a potential Cy Young winner. And then the Astros won late because the Mets ran out of bullpen. But the Mets have the best record in the National League, as you mentioned. The Yankees have the best record in the American League.
Yeah.
And the Astros are just not having any trouble with these teams.
They went, 6-2?
And they look
games?
good.
Yeah.
They look good in these games. The bullpen, for the most part, is performing. The starting pitching has been excellent. The offense kind of comes and goes, but for the most part has largely been consistently okay at worst.
Right.
This looks like a championship team. It's not the same dominant 2019 team that we saw that was just killing teams 11-3 every time. But they're really good. And there's no reason right now as an Astros fan that you don't think that it's ALCS at worst.
Got to get there.
Between them and the Yankees, who else? Who else in the American League looks anywhere near as good as those two teams?
Yeah, Yankees, 50-plus wins already. They're just rolling away with things right now. So it's a one-gamer tonight, and then the homestand is going to continue. But how about some trends we're seeing now? And let's talk offensively for the Astros. And I was just talking to somebody in the newsroom about it, too. Alex Bregman, I'm going to start with him. Before this stretch, about maybe 10 days ago, I mean, he was down to I think 218, I believe, was his low point. Since that time, he's found that stroke. I think he was 8 for 22, I think, on the road trip, and entered the ball game at Minute Maid Park against the Yankees tonight, hitting 242. And as we're coming to you right now, he's already had a 2 RBI double, I believe. So that average has jumped 20-plus points. And, man, if you get him going, and if you get Yuli Gurriel, who also had a nice road trip going, that's 2 big pieces you haven't had all season really being consistent in the lineup. Yeah,
and I say this all the time on Sports Sunday. I think 1 through 7, the Astros, when they're right, have the best lineup in baseball. Yeah. There's just no spots where you have any respite in there. It's just one, Altuve and Brantley and Bregman and Jordan and Kyle Tucker. It's just one after another. It's such a tough lineup. And I think Bregman looks completely different. This was not a luck thing. This wasn't like he's running into fielders. He was not hitting well.
Right.
He made a ton of mechanical changes. It took a while for those to take. And there was one, I forgot exactly, I think maybe it was against the Mets. He had a 407-foot home run. That's just something we haven't seen from Alex Bregman in like a month and a half. And so mechanical changes are working. He's mixing going the other way, and now he knows when he needs to hit for power and pull it because he's a pull power guy. And he looks different. He looks like Alex Bregman is supposed to look. Gurriel, I still think, has a ways to go because I can see he's got that big looping swing where almost everything is a pop-up for a lot of the time. You got to think, he's getting at an advanced age. The Astros are looking at J.J. Matijevic at first base, but for the most part, this is just a scary lineup 1 through 7. Kyle Tucker also not going as well as for the most part. He's hit and miss.
Had the big homer in New York against the Mets, but you want to get him locked in as well. But back on Gurriel real quick. Just the small sample size on this road trip, 8 for 22. Now, can he keep it going? That's going to be the key for Gurriel. But, man, this guy won the batting title last year, and what a difference a year has made for him, the drop-off. And, again, hopefully he gets some confidence
Shouldn't have lost
going.
that weight. It's funny. His offseason, he's like, I cut all these foods out of my diet, and I was eating healthy, and he lost weight, and he's not hitting.
You want to pack some pounds on, man.
Go, get some, tips treats and get some cookies.
There you go.
Have Astros fans just, send Yuli Gurriel cookies.
I would love that. Hey, last comment now. Let's talk, and real quick before we run out of time. Trade deadline is going to come up after that All-Star, right around the All-Star break. What if you're James Click right now? What is this team lacking? I'm going to say, give me another potential outfielder, maybe a center fielder that's proven. I'm not feeling real confident about Myers yet. I know he just got back, but or McCormick, but maybe find a center fielder that can help contribute. What do you think?
Left-handed relief pitching,
There you
because
go.
that's the reason the Braves beat the Astros in the World Series last year.
Yeah.
There's no team in the past, I don't even know how many years, that threw as many lefties in a row at anyone in the playoffs. The Braves are not a better team than the Dodgers.
Right.
The Braves are not a better team than the Astros overall. But they have this specific advantage that teams are not used to seeing a lefty starter followed by a lefty reliever, followed by another lefty reliever, followed by a righty, followed by another lefty. And so you're just not used to seeing that many lefties all at once, and that's what they did. The Astros can easily steal that. The market is tough. There aren't a lot of good, there's Andrew Chafin, Brad Hand, there's a few guys. But there's your blueprint. You know what you need to do. And the Astros have almost no left-handed relievers whatsoever.
Right.
Parker Mashinsky is hurt. Blake
Taylor.
Taylor's hurt.
Yeah.
Zach Roskup is currently on the AAA IL.
Yeah, you
So
need a proven guy.
You
to
need
get
at
people
least,
out.
and they have them and James Click has a track record of being aggressive with relief pitching in the deadline. Last year they went and got 4 different relief pitchers.
Right.
Why can't you go out there and get at least 2 lefties? I think James Click can do it. I think you can trade Chas McCormick because he is a useful major league player and will be a good enough return for a lefty, and then maybe a prospect package for another lefty. Go get 2 left-handed relievers.
All right, we will find out. Hey, homestand continues at Minute Maid Park. You've got who's coming in?
Angels.
Angels this weekend, and then the Kansas City Royals are coming in, playing the Yankees tonight. So we're inching closer to that All-Star break. So want to check in, talk some baseball with you. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll continue to do so on KPRC2 Plus and click2houston.com. And special shout out to our intern Jayla Mason. She is shooting this as we
Thank you,
speak.
Jayla.
So steady right there. Great job, Jayla. Appreciate it. Y'all have a good one. We'll talk to you soon.